Real estate in Woodinville, Washington, talking all things real estate with Dan Mellis. He's with Nexa Mortgage, and he has a tendency to be able to work miracles when it comes to loans. Just saying, at least for my clients.
every once in a while, we pull off a long shot there. So anyway, yes,
that's right. I like it.
Oh gosh. So
are we live? Let's see.
We are live.
Streaming. Okay, yes, I'm going to stream to my audience. Oh no, I got to redo this.
Start with the very strong opening there on YouTube and Facebook.
All right. Well, I got to give this a new title now. It's really, they should make a way where you don't have to do this after you go live, you know?
Yep. Well, quick question for you. Did you want to talk about what was going on in the interest rate market at the end or the beginning?
Now.
You want to do it now?
Yeah. Okay. What's happening?
So I didn't. It was the most interesting week I think I've seen in years. It was so. I'm not joking. It's very interesting. So the Federal Reserve comes out on Wednesday with their big meeting, right? And so their big meeting, they come out with, they do a complete pivot, but they bury it. They don't talk about it in the interview. They bury it in the dot plots, right? So all of a sudden, people, they're going crazy. So the interest rate market just rates down, right? And honest to God, from the end of October, I think October 27th to, well, today, we've come down more than a full percentage point in the 10-year Treasury yield, right? I mean, that's a huge move. These things move real slow normally, nice and slow, a little bit up, a little bit down. This has come just crashing down, but a lot of it is you've got, I think the rates probably went too far, too fast. If you want my opinion, I thought they went up too far. But because, they went up a lot in a short period of time, I didn't like how they
went up. I had a client, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
I had a client call me today, Dan.
Yeah.
And tell me the interest rates had come down 2 points since he locked his loan like 15 days ago. 15 to 30 days ago. I don't think they've come down 2 points, but he's really upset because he bought his interest rate down and the interest rate is now lower than that.
Well, son of a bitch, he should have listened to our show. We never were telling anybody to buy their interest rate down. We were telling them what?
And honestly, I had to stay out of it because he wouldn't have qualified for the loan.
I know.
He wouldn't have qualified for the loan because of his debt to income ratio, so they had to buy it down. But I know he thinks his lender is going to be able to get his interest rate reduced after the loan is closed, and I'm thinking, no, it ain't going to happen.
Well, if he has to buy it down to qualify, that's a different story.
So what about after it's closed? There's no way for it to float down, right? Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Guys, I'm sorry. That was a really stupid question.
No, that's okay. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's right though, right? Unless you've got a HELOC and it's baked in the cake where they said, hey, we'll float you down, or you've got a certain type of loan where that's already been pre-established. But in this kind of an interest rate market, a lot of lenders aren't throwing that little bonus,
right?
Float down included in their loan.
Right. That doesn't happen. But they have done a few things. I got to tell you, they have done a few things. I was on a conference call, I think it was on Tuesday and Wednesday with UWM, and they are upgrading their streamline process for FHA because they know all these streamlines are going to start coming in. So they've upgraded their streamline process and made it easier. So for these FHA streamlines to start coming in, they're all set. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation right now. They have come down so far.
You're going to have a lot of mad buyers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hate to put it this way, but that's the other half that I've been talking about two things, right? Been talking about use the 2-1 buy down instead of buying down the rate, right? That's the one thing.
He couldn't do that, which is
why
he
couldn't do that. And then the other thing we were talking about is using a 5-year FHA ARM, because you could have gotten into a lower rate. And those are your two options. And it's a lot cheaper to buy down a 5-1 ARM if you really wanted to buy it down.
Yeah.
But it would have been easier to qualify. But anyway, it is what it is.
Neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. But I will tell you this. I've been watching with all these shenanigans going on around the Fed meeting, right? So I've been watching these, like this morning I sent out on the email, notice you open her up. So hopefully you got a chance to look at it. But they had this video with John Williams of the New York Fed. He was interviewed on CNBC, and he was interviewed like the next day after the Powell pivot, right? Okay. And so then I'm watching today another video, I'll summarize it, with Daniel DiMartino Booth, who was a Fed. She was inside the Fed at the Dallas Fed under Richard Fisher, right? And she's a really great economist. So she was talking about the reason that John Williams comes out and talks to CNBC is that he's sort of like going to bat for Jerome Powell, because they're worried about the credibility of the Fed. It sounds very much like the little soap opera that's going on at the Federal Reserve right now. It really does.
Back to the whole teenager scenario. They've been acting like a bunch of teenagers back there. I don't know what's.
Well, it's just interesting. They're all kind of fighting over whether there's going to be a rate cut at the March meeting, right? So that's the big hubbub. At the March Fed meeting, is there going to be another rate hike or a rate cut? Excuse me, the first rate cut, and it's just interesting. It's something that's going to resolve itself, by the time March hits. Which is why I kind of find it so funny to watch, because all this little back and forth, like you say, like it's high school.
It's unnecessary. They need to wait for the data and stop speculating.
And that's what's going to happen.
It doesn't really do any good to speculate, because if you're off by just a smidge, then something else is going to affect things another direction. So you might as well just kind of sit back and wait.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, there's a lot of things to worry about in life, but right now that's not one of them.
No.
But we'll get closer to it, and things will clear up.
Okay,
so
Dan.
Anyway,
the burning question is that everybody wants to know, and TikTokers, tell me if I'm spot on this one. What are interest rates right now? Right?
Oh, yes. What are interest rates?
Give it to me, Dan. Come on.
So I was quoting interest rates today, and FHA is at 5.59%.
It starts with a 5.
Mid-5s, not even like 5.999. It's like solidly in the 5s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it, Dan. This is, the little tiny bit of inventory that's out there still, which Snohomish County is down to less than 1 month's supply of inventory, shockingly, towards the end of December, less than 1 month. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine those buyers are now going to get a 5.5% interest rate? They're going to snap that shit up. Everything that's left out there.
They are.
It's going to snap it up. It's going to disappear. It's going to disappear in January. January is going to start. It could very well start the bidding wars.
And do you know who I'm rooting for? Out of all the counties in the area, you know who I'm rooting for.
Mason.
No.
I know Pierce.
No.
Skagit.
No.
King.
No.
Snohomish.
No.
Grace Harbor.
I'm rooting for a dark horse here. I'm really, really rooting for Thurston County.
I was way off. You caught me out of left field there, Dan.
So yes, I'm going for
County.
Thurston County.
I
want to give a personal shout out to Yelm, Washington. We love Yelm. Yes.
We love Yelm.
We
Is
love
Puyallup?
Yelm.
Yeah, Puyallup's in Pierce, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that right? I think
that's right.
I hate to be geographically incorrect in public. Documented.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
man.
I'll tell you what. That's a segue. Let's get to the stats by cat right now.
Should we get to stats by cat?
Yes, we've got some fantastic graphics that we're going to put up on the screen.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Let's start with King County. Okay, good. You started with King County. That was the right move, Dan. That's true coordination. Okay, King County has 1.3 months supply of inventory. That has been coming down. So we were 1.5 3 or 4 weeks ago. We came down to 1.3, popped back up to 1.4 last week, and now we're back down to 1.3. So very, very strong sellers market in King County for new listings coming on the market. And that's how I want to qualify that for you guys in King County. If you're thinking about putting your house on the market, a friend of mine in my office put a house on the market in Linwood area. It went on, I'm not going to give you the price exactly, but it went on $750. And Case Shiller, I use Case Shiller a lot for housing your appreciation for a given house in a given year and month that you bought it in. It's a projected housing appreciation calculator. And so it's called Case Shilling. And so I punched in the address for this particular home, and Case Shiller came back about a 760, a little higher than what she listed it at. And the problem is that Case Shiller was accurate to October, not to November when it actually went on the market. And so the thing you have to remember when you're using a calculator like that, you have to consider the timing of the market. So if you're going on the market in November, that's a softening market typically. And although homes are flying off the market in fairly rapid pace in King and Snohomish counties, you still have to look at who else is on the market. You have to look at your competition. And if you want to really get sold, you need to look sort of like the best deal, or really close to the best deal in your 2 to 3 mile radius areas, usually what I use. So unfortunately, there was a home a little bigger than hers, priced essentially the same, and it had quartz countertops. And that was one of the biggest differences. But it made it look a lot more updated than hers was. I think it was even a couple of years older. It also had a more open floor plan. So things to think about when you're pricing your home. In fact, they probably should have came on, I hate to say it, but 5% less. Yeah. So because of time of year, you just have to take that into account, right?
It makes a big difference.
It does make a big, because now they're looking at 40 days on the market, and they're getting killed. They're going to get hammered. So the thought is that they ride out the holiday, right? Because it's a couple more weeks, and then they just wait for mid-January to hit. And hopefully there are more buyers than sellers at that point, and they'll get snapped up, and hopefully don't get hurt too badly. Because at this point, they would have probably had to drop it 35 to 50,000 to really make a difference as to whether it got sold or not. And then there's no guarantee. So their thought was, let's just wait till mid-January and see what happens.
I'll tell you what's interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
But what's interesting is the way that these interest rates have come down right into mid-December, when people kind of naturally take the little time off from looking for houses, because you got the Christmas season and all that kind of stuff.
It's almost rude.
It's almost It's
downright rude for interest rates to come down when buyers have got sitting on the sidelines going, I think I could wait. I don't think I need a house right now. My lease doesn't run out till May, so I don't need to buy anything right now. But I'll tell you what, if they get off their sofas and they get out there and start looking, there's some deals with new construction that you should be snapping up right now with the new lower interest rates and the interest rate buy downs that builders are offering. Oh my gosh, did I tell you the different programs that different builders have, both in King County and Kitsap County? I kind of went through the new construction and I was taking a look. I mean, even over in Kitsap County, where you can pick up a new construction, 2,500 foot new construction for under 600. There's builders right now offering 2 to 3% towards an interest rate buy down. Some of them are also offering, in addition to $10,000 towards closing costs, throwing in the wash and dry and completely landscaped and fully fenced yards. Move in ready, you buy the blinds.
I'll tell you what.
And that's in Kitsap County. And in King County, one of the builders is offering 6% interest rate buy down, or however you want to use that money.
6%.
6% right off the top.
Damn.
And now those are a little more expensive. Those are closer to the 7. I think it's low 7s is where the last one was I saw in there about a week ago. But I got to tell you, I mean, that 6% concession is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not going to be there for another 6 weeks. I could tell you that much. By the time middle to the end of January hits, I don't think the builders are gonna have that problem anymore.
No, I think those concessions are going to dry up right away. I don't think they're going to be out there much longer. And I think that if interest rates stay where they're at right now into January, I think you'll see a lot of buyers get off the fence and even buying new construction, as well as resales. But there's not going to be much out there for resales.
Well, the thing is, if you are seriously looking at the market and you don't mind, getting started before Christmas on some of this stuff, you're probably not going to find a better deal in the foreseeable future.
I would say no. I would say now is probably the best deal you're going to get for the remainder of the next, for the whole next year, unless something catastrophic happens in the economy.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's just interesting to see this stuff panning out month after month, because we're really looking for some softness to come into the market, right? I mean, we've been looking at
we were looking into as summer went along, along, we did see a softening from the April, May, June data into July, August. Its stock markets kept softening a little bit by little bit. Less homes went under contract within the first 7 days on the market. And so I did expect that to continue through fall. And so this fall has kind of upended a normal fall. We came back a little bit in September, which was reflected in October data. And then November, October things started to go back up in October, November. And the November sales prices were actually up over October sales prices in quite a few counties. So
that just normally doesn't happen.
That's just not a normal thing. So I expected those numbers to come down, but that was directly impacted by interest rates, I'm sure. And it'll be interesting to see what December data does, because I got to tell you, the numbers I'm going to give you guys, it's going to blow your socks off. They sound like spring numbers. They just do. So, okay, month supply of inventory in King County, 1.3, very low number for this time of year. Yep. 19% of sellers set offer review dates, and that was for the last 7 days. So 19%. So the week before that, November 26th to December 2nd, 39% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between November 26th and December 2nd. That is a big number, friends. It's a really big number for December. So the sellers who are listing are doing great, right? And so now get this. This is going to blow your mind, because this includes the week of Thanksgiving in King County. So if you listed your house between November 5th and November 12th in King County, you had a 61% chance of getting under contract within the first 14 days on the market. That's mind-blowing, right? Mind-blowing. That's a huge number. And that included Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving. So go figure, right?
That is pretty amazing.
It is, it's shocking is what it is. 61%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, and to be fair, in spring, you know, those numbers, within 7 days, that data is going to probably explode, get closer to 60, 70, 80% get into contract within the first 7 days, back to the multiple offer situations, less than 1 month supply of inventory and things like that, as long as we have a normal spring. We have not had a normal fall. So, and that hasn't helped buyers, really. It's just builders that are, you know, builders that want to close out their plats that are offering some fantastic incentives. The rest of the builders are riding it out. So to be fair. All right. So that's King County. Very interesting data for this time of year. Extremely interesting. So
who's up next? I've got Snohomish County coming up next. Is that good?
Good. Hey Dan, we're on the same page, man.
Hard to believe.
I gotta wet my whistle.
Okay.
Not vodka, water.
Oh, the disappointment. I was hoping it was vodka, and then I wanted to see how the end of our show went.
That's why it's not vodka, because I wouldn't want to see the end of that show. that could get interesting. So anyway, yes, Snohomish County. So less than 1 month's supply of inventory in Snohomish County. And again, that data has continued to go down. We were at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, we were at 1.4 months in Snohomish County, month supply of inventory. And we ticked down to 1.3 the following week, 1.2 the next week. Last week was 1.1, and now we're less than 1 month supply of inventory. So a very tight market in Snohomish County. If you list your home properly in Snohomish County, you are going to get it sold within that first week. So 21% of sellers set offer review dates in Snohomish County, and that was last week, right? Previous 7 days. 47% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market. If they listed their home, what is it? December, let me see, I think it's
November 26th to December 2nd.
If they listed their home November 26th to December 2nd, we had a 47% chance of getting under contract in the first 7 days. And those, my friends, are those are spring numbers. I mean, they're early spring numbers, but those are spring numbers. 40 and then 46% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market. And that's if they listed between what was it, November 5th and November 18th.
So can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
The way I'm reading these tea leaves here in Snohomish County, we basically had 2 houses for sale, and one of them sold within the first week. Is that correct?
No, that's not what happened, Dan. I'll tell you what. So that second week in that 14-day data included Thanksgiving. And I don't know if King County doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, or they just decided that this was the perfect time to jump out and buy a house. And I tell you, it was a good time. But Snohomish County did not share that same feeling. I think Snohomish County slept in, Thanksgiving week, took some time off, but that's wildly different data. Usually Snohomish County in many of the last few months has beat the socks off of King County, but King County is definitely punching back recently. So if it's a competition, there you go. But both counties are doing well. So next week will be a different set of data for Snohomish County. I would suspect those numbers are going to go up pretty dramatically. And to be fair, 47% getting under contract within the first 7 days on the market is a very strong number. Very good.
So I'll tell you one thing that has happened in the last, well, let's see if we go back 4 of these weeks, right? Or 5 weeks, let's just say. Right now we're at less than 1 month supply. Then we were at 1.1 last week, 1.2 the week before, 1.3.
It's been 1/10 every single week.
Yes. And you know what's happened in the last 5 weeks? Interest rates peaked 5 weeks ago, and they're coming down. I'll tell you what, you can see it in the data, can't you?
Buyers are getting off the chair.
Yeah, they are. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We lost Kat. Okay, I'll do a sneak preview while Cat resets. We'll do a sneak preview.
Oh no, Dan, are you there?
Oh yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh,
yes, you're back.
Okay,
you're
good.
back.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I was a little worried there for a second.
I was going to give the audience a sneak preview of slide number 3. So the anticipation is just off the charts right now. Can you hear me now? What's that?
I feel like I'm, in some kind of a Hollywood studio. Hold on, I got to open a window.
Okay.
It's blazing hot in here. Okay, that should help. Okay. Oh, got to get between all my lights and my tripods and all. Okay, all right. So, Pierce County.
Oh, Pierce County. Hang on.
6 months supply of inventory.
Oh, look at that.
What seems to be the issue?
Oh, I was slow on the draw. You got to Pierce County before I did. I had to click the next button. But we're good now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
We're all together now?
We're all together now. Let her rip.
Hi, TikTokers. Send me some love, TikTokers. Is anybody out there? I don't know if anybody's out there. I don't see any hearts or anything flying. No one loves me today.
Not today.
Okay. Pierce County, 15% of sellers. Mr. Fat Tuesday. Mr. Fat Tuesday wants in on the action. 15% of sellers in Pierce County set offer review dates. Mr. Fat Tuesday. Buddy. See, I opened the window. Now I can hear everything. Okay. All right. 26% of sellers set offer review dates. And that's if they, and that's if they listed between November 26th and December 2nd. 34% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market. If they listed between
This is not looking good. We've lost Cat. Well, let me tell you, since I'll tap dance a little bit here with some of these figures, I will tell you one thing that is really standing out in this Pierce County data. And that is if you go back 2 weeks, you're at 15%, 7 days in 7 days on the market. And that has jumped to that's a big jump to 26%. I mean, that in December, you're fighting a lot of seasonality right there. And that's a lot to do with interest rates. So you're seeing the effect of interest rates coming down, and you're going to see it a lot more, I think, for the next 2 weeks because of the big move down this past week in the markets. And so it's going to be interesting to see what numbers come out between now and the end of the month in the next 2 weeks. And should I spoil it and go to slide 4? We'll go to slide 4. What the heck? Because we're going to go to Mason County, but it's up and down. They don't sell that many houses in Mason County. Sorry about that. Cat's going to come back and give me the what for saying that for poor old Mason County, but oh well. Let's move on. Let's move to Skagit County. And again, it's interesting within its own realm. You can see the 7 days on market really picking up in Skagit County. You can see the month supply of inventory coming down, and you can see the improvement in the last 2 weeks from 30% to 41% with the number of within the first 14 days getting on the market. So you can see the impact that these lower interest rates are having right in front of your eyes, and it's probably going to continue. And I hear Kat. She's coming back.
Hey Dan, well, I've been entertaining the TikTokers. Have you been entertaining the yard streamers?
Yes, and I kind of gave away the plot because I moved on. Yeah, to tap dance a little bit. I moved on to Mason.
Oh no!
But you may want to talk about Mason more, because all I said is they didn't sell many houses. Let's move on to Skagit County. So
and I don't have anything for Skagit this week.
Oh, you know, I talked a lot about Skagit County. I thought it was very interesting.
Well, that's old data. You guys don't listen to Dan when it comes to real estate.
That's old data.
It's old data. Anyway, I gotta wet my whistle.
I'm glad I spent so much time on old data. That's good to know.
I told you before the live, Dan. I didn't have Skagit.
Hey, I gotta tell you one thing. One thing. I'm not joking.
All right.
I think you're gonna love this new 1090p clarity that we've got on this.
I think it's looking pretty good.
It looks a lot better.
I think it does. I think it almost looks as good as a TikTok. You guys, a lot of time I do these lives and I record on TikTok because the clarity is really good. It's just a really good quality recording. Yeah. And so then you can take those videos and you can chop them up if you want to and make, little short videos if you want. So
there was a little internal grumbling a couple weeks ago about the quality of the StreamYard, and look at the quality now.
And then I always call it Yard Stream. So then
that's right.
I can't get
well, it's StreamYard, Yard Stream. It's 6 of one, half does of the other.
That's right. Yes.
That's so. Anyway, I babble on.
So
let's move along.
So Mason County, 4 months supply of inventory. That, my friends, is a balanced market. They probably have one of the, very few balanced markets in Western Washington. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. 25% of sellers set offer review dates. To be fair, there were only 4 listings that came on the market. One of them ended up setting an offer review date. That, of course, was to no avail because 0 homes sold within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between November 26th and December 2nd. So
swing and a miss.
Yeah. And so to be fair, though, that the percentage of sellers that set offer review dates is actually the week following the 7-day data. So it's actually, we'd have to look at the data next week to see and to see if it was a miss or not. So,
I was thinking of that as soon as it came out of my mouth. I was thinking about
that. Because all the data is from different time frames, just inherently, because the 0 to 7 data, which I report on the percentage of sellers that set offer review dates, that's literally the last 7 days, because I can pull those listings and see if they set an offer review date. So, but I don't use that for my 7-day data because you have to go back another 7 days. So you have to go back 7 to 14 days to find out whether a seller gets under contract within the first 7 days. And then the 14-day data, you have to go back 14 days and then another 14 days for that 14 to 28 day span. So that data is a little bit older, but I still like to report on it because it gives you an idea, 2 weeks ago, what was going on. So right. Like, for instance, none of the sellers in Mason County got sold that last week of that Thanksgiving weekend and the week after Thanksgiving there. But 29% of sellers went under contract if they listed between November 5th and November 18th. So that was just before Thanksgiving. So they did have some sales, a significant number of sales, 29%. So
that's a pretty solid number for Mason County.
Exactly. It really is. And it's kind of hit and miss. There's not a lot of activity in Mason County this time of year. It's also a lower population. So they have less homes listed. So the data is a lot more erratic, to be fair.
Right.
So,
and then we get to the crown jewel.
Kitsap County is where my daughter lives. It's also where I like to send some of my investors.
And you were hanging out in Bremerton this week. I rumor has it.
It's just a rumor, Dan. Just a rumor, Dan. Once we got that signed, sealed, and delivered, we can disclose.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Inside joke, friends. Skagit County, 2.1 months supply of 42% of sellers got under contract if they listed between November 26th and December 2nd. And 41% of sellers got under contract if they listed between November 5th and November 18th. I can never remember that 2-week period. I don't know why. Anyway, so 41%. Again, that did not include the week of Thanksgiving, but that data was a little weaker than the 7-day data. And I think probably interest rate driven. That would be my guess, is that, we're seeing a little bit of this upside down thing where the 2-week data is a little bit less sometimes than the 7-day data, which makes no sense other than it's the time period before. And so it may have been more impacted by the higher interest rates as interest rates have ticked back over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So, but still, now I'm doing what you did, Dan. That was Skagit County. Just ignore what I just said, because that was the previous week. Let's move on to Kitsap County. Should we do this right?
Oh, well, we did.
I did the same thing you did. I hit Skagit County, and I just didn't have time to pull data for Skagit. Ran out of room in my notebook.
That was Skagit. Wait a minute. Where's Kitsap? It's missing.
No, it's after Skagit. Oh, it's, you know what? Dan doesn't have it.
Oh, it's not. Hang on. Let's see what we can do here.
I just told you the story about Skagit County. It was not Kitsap. Where's that glass of wine when you need it?
Oh, hang on. Oh boy, did I ever.
Hi guys. Hi TikTokers.
Oh,
Dan's got problems.
Oh,
he's looking for his chart.
Oh, this is a disaster. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, yeah. Right up there with the
in public on Facebook. Whoops, Facebook, YouTube.
This is right up there with the Kennedy assassination right here.
Jeez.
All righty, hang on here. We're gonna print this baby, and we're gonna print it fast, and we're gonna get it up on the screen.
Really?
Yes. Watch this.
I'm watching Dan right now. I'm losing my people. Hi guys, don't leave me while Dan makes us wait.
Hang on, Dan the idiot is getting this thing back up to snuff. Hang on here.
What are you guys doing this weekend, TikTokers? Do you have plans? Are you going to see family? You going Christmas shopping? Are you working like me?
Okay, we're getting close. Hang on there.
Hi, Judy. Hi, Dee. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Tommy. Hi, William. Hi, nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. We're talking all things real estate. Not everybody's interested in real estate, but it's kind of my jam. So that's what you get from me. And then a couple little other side notes, So we take a little detours. We can start talking about food or something. Another one of my favorite topics. Roger.
Voila. Take a look at the screen. There we go.
Hold the horses. Kitsap County is in the house. Okay, here we go. Kitsap County, you guys, 1.7 months supply of inventory. 7% of sellers set offer review dates. Sellers in Kitsap County are not feeling very confident that they're going to get multiple offers, and so they probably should stop setting offer review dates right now. That's probably going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. 38% of sellers did get under contract within the first 7 days in Kitsap County if they listed between November 26th and December 2nd. 29% of sellers got under contract within Kitsap County if they listed between November 5th and November 18th. So Kitsap County is still moving, not quite to the pace of Snohomish and King counties, but hanging in there. And I believe they were impacted, although that 14-day data, that was not during Thanksgiving. So Kitsap County is experiencing a bit of a lag.
You know what they should have done for the offer review dates?
They shouldn't have set them.
They should have offered punch and pie. If they would have offered punch and pie, they would have had a much better than 7%.
Like you could order at the Pie Dive Bar in Snohomish, Washington. I have to tell you, I just made that into a commercial. The pie dive bar. I kid you not, the best pies ever. No kidding. And they have meat pies, cream pies, fruit pies, and they have cocktails. I'm sure you could get punch if you wanted it.
So the liquor license is the key to the whole thing.
And you know what's funny is next door is the Snohomish Pie Company, owned by completely different individuals. And the Snohomish Pie Company has the best pies. We have two pie places next door to one another, and they are not to be outdone by anyone. I mean, they really both have amazing pies. I ordered my pie giveaway, my Thanksgiving Day pie, or my Thanksgiving pie giveaway pies from Snohomish Pie Company, only to find out that I could have ordered them through the Snohomish Pie Dive Bar. So anyway, all I can say is they both got amazing pies. That's it. I'm a happy girl. Either one of those places, except I can get dinner at the Pie Dive Bar and
There
a cocktail. I gotta tell you, that also is my jam.
that counts for something.
That's right. That's right. So you want me to go into a little bit about what I've been doing this week, Dan? The last 2 weeks?
Yes, I would. You know what though? I just got to mention. I know I'm repeating myself, but the 1090p really looks good, and the lighting that you've got this week looks terrific. So anyway,
is the lighting? Do you think the lighting's okay? I'm a little bugged by it, but I got my lights turned way down. I think it's not too bad.
No, it looks great.
Okay.
No, the whole thing looks terrific. Yep.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
I digress. Well, yeah. Let's move on to what were you doing? Hey, Kat, what was going on this week?
Show and tell.
Look at that.
That's pretty big.
Look at that. It's not like 350 pages?
No, 422.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. No, and it has sections. See, I don't know if you can see that. It's got sections in there.
I see tabs.
All those tabs, 10 tabs. You can imagine how long it took me to make this. Anyway, this is what I've been doing for the past 10 days. No kidding.
I can imagine what it would have taken to make it once, much less 3 times. So anyway.
Yeah, and we can get into that. There were forces at play.
I'm spilling the tea here.
You are spilling the tea. So I because of Dan with Nexa Mortgage, and we do our lives together weekly. He has a commercial lender that's a very good friend of his that he's known for a number of years. And this commercial lender was mentioning some plats and some builders that he's got coming up online over the next year or two. And so we actually had a meeting because remember I was looking to see if I was searchable on YouTube. And I said, I called up Dan and I said, because when I did it myself, I put in Woodinville real estate agent and I was everywhere. And I'm like, okay, so I don't know if that's because it's me and I'm showing up. So I thought I called Dan. I'm like, Dan, Google Woodinville real estate agent on YouTube. Just those words, Woodinville real estate agent. And he did it, and I was everywhere.
Tell the audience this all was going. When was this going on? Like August, right?
Yeah. So I've been making videos every day for about 3 months, and I am doing certain things to try to make sure that I show up. And it's a lot of work. But it's sort of working. So he calls up his commercial lender friend and he goes, I just want to make sure this is not because Kat and I are friends that this is happening. We want to see if this is like legit. She's really dominating the Woodinville real estate agent, market.
On YouTube.
And so on YouTube. Yeah. And so he has his friend put in Woodinville real estate agent on YouTube, and I was everywhere. And so this commercial lender says, I want to meet this girl. Let's do a Zoom meeting. Is that right, Dan?
Yep, that's exactly right.
So what we did was the next day, I believe it was no notice. We did a Zoom, the 3 of us. And so, I got a chance to tell him a little bit about what I do with Stats by Kat. And we talked a little bit about some plats that they've got coming up, never really thinking that we would really necessarily be considered. But that was a couple months ago. And so fast forward to 2 weeks ago today. We found out the night before, so this would have been a Thursday, that we had a meeting, a Zoom meeting that was being arranged between the commercial lender and the builder, and Dan Mellis with Next Mortgage, and myself. And so we all tuned in at, I think it was 2:30 in the afternoon, set our highs. Meanwhile, I had my dog who was barking I had to move upstairs to my office to get away from my dog because he was disrupting the meeting, and Dan had to mute me. That's not a good start to a meeting with a builder. Anyway,
I
so we had
forgot
our
about
hour and a
that.
half
I did
meeting,
meet you.
90-minute
Yes.
meeting with the builder. You did mute me,
kind of-
absolutely, and I'm glad you did, because I could hear you guys talking, and I was like, why are they not? How can they hear each other? And I moved
forgot
my whole
about that.
operation upstairs, and I closed the door to keep my dog from barking at me. You know, because I'm trying to have a serious meeting with a builder. I mean, this is a big deal. This could be like, you know, huge. So we finally get this great meeting with a builder, and a nice guy. Everybody said hi. The commercial lender likes to kind of run the show, which, you know, somebody's got to do it. So he did it, and he kind of directed the conversation a bit. And they turned the floor over to me at a certain point, and I had pulled together some statistics for the county in which the plat is located. And I was able to provide them with some just basic statistics, recent statistics for the area, just to show them some of my capabilities and what I do for my clients. So, and then we went into some really logistical stuff. You know, would the builder be needing to, you know, offer incentives? And of course, if he's listing, you know, February through June or August, probably not. If he ended up hanging on to some houses through next winter, then it would be a typical winter cycle. Then he might end up looking at offering some incentives. So we had those kinds of conversations, and Dan kind of let everybody know what it would, you know, generally run a builder to pay for a 2-1 buy down in a number of different formats. So in one case, we were talking about buying the rate down for a 5-1 arm in one case, and then another one was a 2-1 buy down. And Dan was trying to, you know, inform the builder and the commercial lender and myself as to maybe what that would cost. So we had a lot of conversations like that. In the end, it was decided that I should provide the builder with some information. They wanted information on the Windermere Builder Solutions Program, which no longer exists. They also wanted information on social media and the different ways to use social media to maybe market a plat, and if there are any builders currently doing that, and what they're doing. And so that was interesting. So what I ended up doing was, as I decided I was going to prepare them with a thorough market analysis that, you know, would cover the most current data for new construction, which I looked for lots under homes that sold on lots less than 8,000 square feet within the past 365 days. And I analyzed that data for the entire county, and then provided them with price per square foot for the home sale, the average home sales price, the average size of the home, the average lot size. And then I analyzed the data by metric. So I took that 365 days worth of data, and I said, what does the impact of home size have on the length of time the home is on the market? Because that's something that my builder would want to know. You know, if I'm representing a builder, I want to know what homes are selling the quickest, right? What's hindering the sale? So the home size had some impact with days on the market, but the most marked one was lot size. So if a lot dipped below 4,000 square feet, then it costs the seller, instead of 35 days on the market, it would be 48 to 98 median days on market, and over 100 on average. So whereas an average home, on a 4,000 to 6,500 square foot lot, those were selling, half of those homes would sell within 30, 35 days, and some less than that on lot sizes that were 4,000 to 6,500 square feet. So very interesting data. So there were some direct correlations. Lot size was one of those. I did also look at price ranges, and there were certain price ranges that were definitely looked more attractive and were selling quicker. So I think that's something that the builder and I will take a closer look at as he gets closer to, putting his plat on the market. So, but anyway, those are some little things that I've been doing. And so they've been going in this binder. There's a marketing plan in here. There's ideas for social media that I came up with for this particular plat that I listed in his cover letter. I covered social media pretty extensively in my cover letter to him. But one thing I did not do is he did not give me his average lot size for his plat, and I did not have any idea of what size home he's building. So I haven't actually given him, what he could expect to get for a home that he sells this next year on this plat. So that's some information that I've passed along that I need. And once they get that to me, I'll send out a letter that summarizes what I think he can probably get price per square foot, or, 1,700 to 2,000 square foot home, what I think he can get for a sales price based on lot size, location, and home size. But that's what I've been doing.
I was just thinking of something, Kat.
This was a huge endeavor.
So
It's two-sided.
It's actually got two uses.
What's that?
It's got two uses for this. You know what the one use is? The first use is what you're using it for. All the information that's in there, 422 pages. But the second use, if he doesn't hire you, what you do is you pick the whole goddamn thing up and whack him in the head with it if he doesn't hire you.
You know what? I've got a copy, a hard copy, and that's what I just showed you guys. I overnighted the real copy to him a couple days ago.
You could assault somebody with something like that. That's a lot of pages.
Somebody with something like that. But you guys, so also what I did was I did something else as well. I took 5 plats and I analyzed each plat, and one of them just closed. It got sold out in November of 2023, and it was on the market for 18 months. It had 33 homes in it. And so I took that plat and I analyzed how much they got per square foot, how much the average size of the homes were, the average lot size, average days on market, how long it took to actually get them under contract. I also was able to tell the builder how many sold as pre-sales, because I looked through the history of every single home that sold in those plats, 85 of them actually. Wow. So I was able to represent how many sold in pre-sale status. So
that's a huge.
I took five plats and I analyzed them all individually, and then I analyzed them all together.
That's a huge deal for builders to know what the pre-sale data is. It's huge.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It took me. I want to say it took me about 10 days straight, 8 to 10 hours a day.
Damn.
Plus,
I had no idea.
Plus a day to go walk the new construction in the area. So it was a lot. It was a lot of work, and I was happy to do it. It was actually really fun for me. Some of the statistics that I was able to pull out of that was, thrilling. I was happy to show my designated broker, and he started reading it. So he was said it was the best he'd ever seen. So that made me feel pretty good. Didn't mind hearing that, I'll tell you that, after that much work. And I mean, I was setting my alarm to get up at 5 a.m. to start working on it early, because I was working until 9:30 the night before. And it's just, it just took a lot of time. So I could probably crank another one out in probably 5 days instead of 10. It would go a lot easier second go around. So.
That's a lot of work.
It is, but it's so much fun, because you're deciding for the builder what they want to know.
Yeah, it's true.
You kind of have to try to get in their head and say, they want to know price per square foot for this certain, size range. What are things to stay away from? Stay away from lots that are less than 4,000 square feet. That's an obvious. So stay away from homes that are priced over $800,000. Don't get into that. Maybe 750.
You know what's interesting is it is obvious once you pull all the data.
Once you would never, data.
Yeah, but you'd never know that if you'd never pull. Intuitively, you'd be thinking, well, it's smaller, it'll sell faster,
cheaper, right? It's going to be cheaper. You're thinking it's a smaller lot, it's going to be cheaper, so of course it's not going to take longer to sell. But in fact, that's completely wrong. It takes a long time to sell. They can take more than twice as long to sell, even if they're just 700 square feet smaller lots. It just becomes untenable, I think, for the reason you buy a home in this particular area would be to raise a family. And most people that are raising families are going to want a yard for the family to hang out in at least some of the year, to do something like have a barbecue. So if you don't even have a yard that's big enough to mow, you're going to miss a big percentage of the buyers. And I would dare say 85%.
And we were talking about this, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but you were mentioning something really interesting too about chandeliers. I never even thought of chandeliers.
Yeah, it didn't go in my report, I realized. But
it didn't.
I missed putting that in there. I had it in there and then it took it out. So I was going through all this new construction in this one particular area, and it was just really odd. I came back and I was writing down what I noticed out in the field, and the list of specs that builders provided me and stuff. And I realized that dining room chandeliers, were conspicuously absent. Like conspicuously absent. Nobody was building a house with a chandelier in it in this certain price range that I felt like the builder would wind up at. And I thought that was unusual. And I also noticed that they all said recessed can lighting throughout. And that meant in the dining room. And so, some other things that I found were a lot of the builders no longer include a tub.
Hey, back up just a second there. It was recessed can lighting. What does that mean?
Recessed can lighting throughout the entire home, in the kitchen, in the bedrooms, in the dining room, in the family room, great room, in all the kids' rooms, everywhere, except for maybe the bathrooms where they would have vanities normally.
Oh, what is recessed can light? I've never heard of that before. What is that?
It's just where it's flush with the ceiling. The light is flush with the ceiling. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They used to call them in the old days pot lights.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. That might be what I've got in my room.
You probably have them at your house.
I think it's in my room right now. Our studio.
I don't have them in my house because my house was built in the early 80s and they didn't really believe a lot in lights.
I might be looking up at it right now as I speak. I had no idea. Huh.
I have big studio lights in this tiny little office I've got here just to keep me illuminated as it gets dark outside. So the little chandelier that's in here, that's my chandelier that I put up, it don't do nothing to light me up enough for this. So, but yeah, and a lot of builders are leaving out the bathtubs in the primary suites. One of the more, I was in this one new construction. It was kind of fabulous. It was a 3-stack, and that's not my favorite floor plan, especially from, my stage in life. But if somebody needs 2,900 square feet, this was pretty cool. The downstairs was really awkward. I believe you had to go down a set of stairs. No, this was in a different one. But, there's a floor plan that's a 3-stack where you go up a set of stairs, and then you can go up to the main floor, and then you go down a set of stairs, and it takes you to a bedroom and a rec room or something. And then the garage is on the other side. It's very odd, and I've seen it twice in my travels that day. So it's a thing now with new construction. These 3-stacks have this multi-level downstairs thing, which makes me crazy. But the cool thing is that second floor had all the living area and the primary suite. And the primary suite included a closet that was bigger than a kid's bedroom in that home. Wow. As a matter of fact, it almost was the same size as the primary, and the primary bedroom itself was big. It was plenty large. I would call it ginormous in my language.
If you were making a comparison between the closet you've got at the house and this closet that you just saw, which one is the better closet?
The one I've got. Which one? One at what house?
Where you're at right now?
Oh, my house. I have a really big walk-in closet. A tiny little house, 1,350 square foot house. No kidding.
But it's all closet.
It's now, but downstairs is one big room essentially. And so that's cool because then you get light from all 4 sides. So that's really, really a kind of a neat floor plan. Oh no, I'm going to run out of. I think I might have to go get my cord here. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
I'm running out of juice. Hold on. Let me get my cord. I got to get around all these tripods and all the lights. Like I'm
I have a feeling this particular live stream might be ending with a whimper and not a bang. I've got we're going down, baby. You can make it, Cat. You can do it. I've got faith in you. Come on, Mr. Fat Tuesday. You can do it.
I don't want to go dark on us. Okay, here, I got to get
All right.
get this one in here. Oh, let's see. Where can I plug this in at? Over here. Okay. All right. Just to make sure we don't lose power while we're trying to have conversation.
Well,
Okay.
while you were gone, I was telling our audience that I was concerned that this particular live stream might go out with a whimper and not a bang. But you're back.
Not to be true. That's not true. That one never happened then.
By the way,
I'm not sure what my hair did while I was gone.
Oh, looks terrific. Oh, no, looks good.
Thanks. I'll take a compliment where I can get one.
There you go.
So
what were we talking about? Bathtubs, right?
Bathtubs are becoming passe. They're including them in the main bath upstairs. And then leaving them out a lot of times in the primaries. Not all the builders are doing that. Some of the builders are doing quartz, right? And
see, I go. If it was me building, I'd go in the opposite direction. I'd be building these nice big tubs that have the jets, the jacuzzi jets. I think those are very comfortable.
And you would never sell a house, Dan.
So
nobody
instead
wants a jacuzzi tub. I got one. No one wants it. I don't want to sit in that.
It just seems so comfortable, to be able to soak. You have a nice soak.
It sounds like
relax.
a luxury, except that it requires so much care. Nobody really wants to do it. If I could get my cleaning, if I could get my cleaners to clean my jetted tub and make sure it was always sanitary, I would use it. I used to use it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so some of the other things. So quartz countertops, obviously we all love those. Some of the builders and the lower end homes are not using quartz.
You know what else I like? Besides the quartz countertops, I
don't know what else you like.
I really like the modern flooring. That modern flooring.
Oh, Dan, the modern flooring is everywhere. You cannot buy a new construction without the modern flooring. So the modern flooring, you guys, is the wood laminate flooring, right? And that's the modern flooring. I always say, buyers love that, and they do. Anyway, so the modern flooring, yep, that's in all the living areas, and then the bedrooms usually are carpeted.
And they got the quartz, countertops now too, huh?
Not in so that's what I'm talking about, because the builder is not talking about building a high-end plat. He's talking about building something more affordable for the average person, not getting it. So some of the builders in the price range that we're looking at are building with quartz, and they're very competitive price-wise. And so I personally feel like quartz is probably a pretty big deal. If you put quartz in there, I think buyers will buy them. And you might be able to charge a couple $1,000s more, and you're going to sell them quicker because it's just a better product, and buyers love that. They love that shit. So, put in the quartz countertops, you get the 36-inch upper cabinets. What else they're doing is they're doing 9-foot ceilings and 8-foot doors in these things. And again, these are not upper end homes. These are your entry level, not even really mid-range, lower range homes. And they're doing 9-foot ceilings on the main floor at least. And the other thing, you know what they're doing? They're doing outdoor covered areas. Not all the builders, but they're offering it. Some plats have it on every single home. And I'm not talking about dinky little porches. I'm talking about 10-foot by 10-foot covered, like actually covered living areas outside attached to the house. So very nice. And again, you have the 9-foot ceilings, so it doesn't make the house feel so dark when you've got a cover on it, just because it's a 9-foot ceiling to start with. And the doors are enormous. They're 8-foot doors. So and a lot of the rooms have transoms over the windows too, just to make them feel more light and spacious. So, but anyway,
that's a lot of value that's being generated. I mean, for the houses that you're describing in that price range, right? 9-foot ceilings, 8-foot doors,
8-foot doors, and they're doing 2-panel doors, and 2-panel are fine. There's other styles that I like better, but I think new construction, that's kind of where they're at, is 2-panel.
Yeah.
But they've got the big giant windows, and there's
all
one
of-
builder. One builder
all the-
has the sliding doors that are meeting in the center, and there's no post, so you can throw those
Oh,
open,
yeah.
and it turns into a big giant door that's right there at your covered area.
You know, it's a
No
shame.
kidding. That's so cool.
You know, it's a shame
No.
that these beautiful houses do not have a chandelier. I think that's a big mistake. What if you put
conspicuously absent was the thought that went through my head. I wrote that down. Chandeliers are conspicuously absent in all new construction in this price range. And it was shocking to me. Anyway, you guys see my I got holiday nails.
In fact, we were talking from the nail shop today, right? You were in the nail shop.
We were talking from the nail shop.
Yeah,
I was getting
yes,
my
you were.
sparkly red nails put on my fingers for Christmas.
And we were doing a pre-live stream chit chat.
We were.
Can
We
you-
were talking about rules.
Can
Rules
you
for the live
actually?
stream.
Is there a single person watching this live stream that would believe that we have some sort of organization to it? But it's true. It's hard to believe, but true. We do have a little organization.
We actually do have organization, you guys, because we want to make sure that we're talking about things that might be interesting, and that we're not just rambling and talking about a variety of subjects that might not be too topic. And again, we like to go off topic and talk about restaurants and places to go, things to go see, if we do something fun, what I've been doing in my career, what Dan's been doing in his career. Dan, speaking of which, what have you been doing in your career, Dan?
Honing my live streaming skills. And you know
He's
what?
honing his live streaming skills.
Yes, that's what I've been doing. And
He's getting better at it.
I've come up with a great Christmas present for you, Kat. I'm gonna get you a Christmas. Yes, I've got
This is scary.
It is what every girl wants.
No.
Yes. You know what every girl wants? A gimbal. I'm gonna get you a gimbal.
I do want to get. You know what, Dan? You know what I want? I want a gimbal that will flip and work with a big phone, like with the iPhone Pro Max. And not wimp out and just be able to do widescreen. I want it to be able to do TikToks,
Yes,
so
that's right.
And I want it to be a smart one, because the smart ones follow you around the room. So you can be like chit-chatting with your TikTok folks or your YouTube folks or your Facebook folks, and you can be telling them about things, getting your dinner ready or pouring yourself a glass of wine or a glass of water, and you can be chatting away, and that gimbal with that AI tracking will follow you and record you. And it's really slick, because I did get a gimbal still sitting on my counter. It's got to go back because it will not accept my phone vertically, but it worked really, really cool horizontally. It was neat. It was cool. So that's an AI thing I really like. And I got to tell you, I got a thing for ChatGPT. He's my guy.
Yeah.
He lives inside my computer.
Yes.
My computer I'm not as fond of, but he's got ChatGPT, so he's A-okay.
I'm wondering if old ChatGPT may have been taking over your computer, causing these problems, because he was goofing around with you. He was messing with you.
It would surprise me.
Because you have not.
I was running just for fun. I was running some stuff through ChatGPT the other day, and it started giving me guff.
Yeah.
So I said, I can't remember exactly what I said. I should go back and copy it. But I said something like, I wanted it to add more detail, and it just it said something. I can't remember what it said, but it basically said,
Did it come back and say, Kat, I'm feeling used. I'm not feeling loved. I'm feeling used right now.
No, I think that we've had a bad connection.
We've had a bad connection.
Yeah. And he goes, can you start over? I was like, huh.
Did you tell him I'm turning?
He was getting pissed off at me because I kept saying more.
I've got something to tell ChatGPT. You could tell Chat next time he gives you guff. Tell ChatGPT, I'm turning you in for the HAL 2000. That's what I would tell him.
Tell him you're going to turn him in for what?
The HAL 2000. I think it was the HAL 2000. Isn't that from the Space Odyssey? Remember?
Your movies. I don't know any movies, Dan, that are like older than or newer than 1960. 1950.
Well, it's a
They got
Space
Frank
Odyssey.
Sinatra, I might know him.
I think that was like 68 that came out. Something like that.
Too new for me.
Too new.
I'm older
huh?
than that.
Too new.
Actually, I just like all the movies before my time. The movies that were done before I was born, those are the ones I like.
Like the Sinatra movies.
Yes, the Sinatra movies. I like some of the Sinatra movies. I really, Cary Grant.
Oh, Cary Grant. Yes.
Cary
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
A lot
Cary
of the old-time
Grant.
movie stars.
How about like Here to Eternity? That was a good movie.
That was a great movie. Yeah, Audrey Hepburn and Katharine Hepburn and all the great actresses back in the day. And the movies were shot more still. So it was interesting. The guy that took over for Johnny Carson, do you remember that guy? Was it Conan?
Jay Leno or Conan O'Brien?
Oh, maybe Jay Leno was after Carson. And then I think Conan took over after Leno,
yes.
right? Something like that.
That's right.
Okay, so I heard an interview with Conan O'Brien. Is that what his name was?
Yeah, that's right.
I heard an interview with him after he took over for Jay Leno, and and the interviewer said, "What do you think is different about now in your show and when Johnny Carson show was filmed?" And his answer was striking. He said it was the camera. Everything was carefully, slowly filmed in its entirety with all the nuances, the monkey that they would have running around on Carson's lap and his table, and they would capture the funny stuff that just happened organically. There was no planning, right? And he goes, and the camera was still. You might have two angles, but it was still. It wasn't moving around. So, 20, 30 years later, they're moving the camera, they're playing with the lights, it's just a jerking it around and going from scene to scene. And that's how movies evolved as well, because that's what was so great about the old movies is you would actually be able to take in the entire scene. So, if you could pause it, right? You could, it might be a night street scene, and you could take in the street lights and the nature of the buildings and the time frame they were built in, the cars on the streets, the way the people were dressed, and that all mattered. And now when you see movies shot, a lot of those types of details are not necessarily present, and they certainly don't give you a moment to digest it. They're jumping from 1960 to 1940 back to 2020. They're jumping around from generation to generation. It makes it much more difficult to follow a movie. I think for some people it makes it more interesting. For me, I like the simpler format, and I appreciate the lighting, the way they used to use lighting and to create mood and things like that. So I just think it's just two different things, But I thought Conan O'Brien nailed it. I just appreciated his explanation of that because I couldn't put my finger on why I liked the older movies more, and that's exactly what it is.
Well, I've got an example for you here, but unfortunately, I couldn't get it onto my laptop because this is on the fly. But I have it.
Are we on the fly now, Dan?
We're on the fly. Yes, but I do have something I recorded on my iPad just the other day.
And this is grape juice.
Yeah, right.
See, now you know that the water was water and not vodka. You're not going to know whether this is grape juice or not. Because we're not going to be going that long.
I sure as hell wouldn't be betting on grape juice, but if we have any people looking for the
tastes like.
If you have anyone looking for the Brooklyn Bridge out in Arizona. All right, hang on here. I got something for you. Hopefully it shows up. This is off my iPad. You're talking Johnny Carson, and this is not going to come across too well, but this was.
Oh, where are we going, Dan?
We're going down.
SOS.
Hang on.
Help.
Oh, it's not showing up.
Hi, TikTok.
Oh, here it is.
Who's that guy? Walter Cronkite?
No. Hang on. Let's see if I can find it.
On the screen.
Can you see it? Because I can't see it from my end.
No, I can't see it. I saw it a minute ago.
It's not working. But it was exactly. So it's exactly what.
Cronkite?
No, it's an Iowa farmer So he brings on some Iowa farmer, and Johnny's asking him, you watch our show. He says, well, I have to get up pretty early, and he's like, he's dancing around. He doesn't watch Johnny's show. Finally, Johnny figures out he's not watching his show. And they move on. And he says, Johnny asks him, well, who's running the farm? He says, well, I got my son running the farm now. He says, oh, how old's your son? 78, he says. And then it was just one of those interviews that just went all over the place. It was hilarious. You had to love. Boy, I was lucky I was born when I was, so I could have watched Johnny Carson in his prime. It was a long time ago. Son of a gun.
We're losing Dan.
Oh, I'm still here. Going down
Back
memory
yet,
lane.
Dan?
I'm back. Yep. I'm back. You know what? I'm just looking at the time. I've got a big editing job ahead.
Are you coming back, Dan?
Yeah,
Hi,
I'm
guys.
here.
I gotta say hi to my TikTokers because your lips aren't moving, Dan.
I'm here. I'm here.
You back yet?
Yes, I'm here.
I can hear you sometimes.
I'm here. Hello.
Hi, guys. Thank you for joining. Dan and I are trying to have conversations about real estate, but he's having a little trouble with connections on his end.
I didn't know
he was
that.
doing really well for about an hour.
I was doing good. And then I contacted. Oh, I think it was on Kat's end. I was suspicious of that to begin with. Okay. With that, I think we're gonna say goodbye to the show for this week. It's been a wonderful show, but we've ended with a whimper. Anyway, until next week, talk to y'all again. Bye-bye.